Namaskar, students. How are you all? Hope you're all doing good. Now, in our last class, we had an activity related to the impact of the geography on the diversity, and it was quite nice to see how actively you participated since uh, many of you shared your activities also in the group. So, in today's class, I'll be proceeding with the chapter, and in today's class, I'll be discussing with you the first topic, that is diversity, followed by an understanding of the term called inequality. Then we'll move on to understanding the difference between Samir Ek and Samir Do, and then how India's unity was recognized as a source of strength, and an already discussed topic, that is the geographical factors affect the diversity of a region. And I hope you will be able to explain it in a better way since we already had an activity related to the same in our previous class. So, the first topic, if I'll take it, is diversity. When we say that India is a country of many diversity, what am I referring to? I mean to say that we speak different languages, we have different types of food, we celebrate different festivals and practice different religions. However, despite all this, we unite together as Indians. This was something that was already discussed in a previous class when I had cited an example where there is a science teacher who had assigned a project to her students, where she had asked them few questions which were written on the board, and the students gave varied responses as to the language they speak, the festivals they celebrate. And with that, I meant to explain you our first subtopic, that is diversity. Then, if we try and understand what is inequality, then we need to understand that inequality comes about when a person does not have access to resources and opportunities available to another person. Then I'll explain you further with the example which is given in your book, that is that there are two boys, one is Samir Ek and Samir Do. Now, as you can see on the screen, I'm sharing a pic of the two boys. So, you can easily observe and you can really say that Samir Ek is a boy who goes to school. There's another boy who sells newspaper. Then Samir Ek, since he goes to school, he's more familiar with English, and Samir Do, on the other hand, since he was not going to school, he spoke which language? Hindi. Yes. Samir Ek is a Hindu and Samir Do is what? He's a Muslim. Here you can add one more point, where you can say that Samir Ek, since he goes to school, his family was in a condition to uh, afford his basic necessities. But on the other hand, Samir Do came from a very poor background. So when we are explaining the difference between Samir Ek and Samir Do, are we referring to the concept of diversity? No, we are not referring to the concept of diversity. We are referring to the concept of inequality. So, what is inequality? Inequality comes about when a person does not have access to resources and opportunities which are available to another person. Now, we need to understand that the biggest example of India's unity was seen during the freedom struggle. And during the freedom struggle, when the Britishers ruled a country, Indian women and men from different cultural, religious, and regional backgrounds came together to oppose them. Who am I referring to as them here? I'm referring to the Britishers. India's freedom movement had thousands of people of different backgrounds in it. They worked together to decide joint actions. They went to jail together. They found different ways to oppose the Britishers. Interestingly, the British thought that they could, through their policy of divide and rule, they would rule Indians because they were so different and continue to rule them. But the Indians showed that they were different, yet they were united in their struggle against the Britishers. Now, kids, if I ask you who is regarded as the first Prime Minister of India, or whose birthday is celebrated as the Children's Day, and he had a lot of love for children. If you are guessing it, yes, you've guessed it right. It is Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru's perception about India's unity in his book, The Discovery of India, is that he says that India's unity is something that was uh, something deeper, and within its fold, the widest tolerance of belief means every belief and custom was accepted and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. He means that when we look into it deeply, one finds that India is not only united, but it is people also know how to accept and respect others. Now, in our last class, when I had conducted the activity, I had already told you as to how geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. So, if we try and recapitulate what we did, we need to understand that in Ladakh, people eat milk and meat. On the contrary, in Kerala, people eat rice, fish, coconut, spices, etc. Ladakh, people wear woolen clothes, but on the other hand, in Kerala, people wear cotton clothes. In Ladakh, people weave pashmina shawls, they do cattle rearing, etc. But in Kerala, people do fishing, farming, etc. So, if we'll try and recapitulate what we have learned in today's class, then we need to know that India is a country of many diversity. Inequality comes about when a person does not have access to opportunities and resources which are available to other people. India's unity is recognized as a source of strength during a freedom struggle. In his book, that is Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru coined the term unity in diversity to describe India, and the geographical factors influence the diversity of a region. Now, kids, pertaining to what I have discussed in today's class, what do we expect next? It is definitely the assignment. Okay, so kids, now I'm sharing the assignment with you related to whatever we have discussed in our class today. Now, I expect you to write and do the assignment in whatever available resource that you have, but please make it a point of not sharing your assignment in the group, because there is a possibility that others might just copy your assignment. So I would appreciate if you do your assignment in whichever resource that you have, but you make it a point not to share your assignment in the group. So with this, I believe your understanding of a very fairly simple chapter is clear, that is understanding diversity. Thank you, everyone.